We have 3 people here, 4 people, 5 people. Let's see. How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Let's see. Where is everyone right now? Let's see. Q&A. At home. Me too. I'm in my backyard, Ben. Let me fix this. I think this chat needs to be fixed. Enable Q&A. Enable reactions. Yeah. Okay. Great. Let me fix this chat. We have the rest of our panelists coming on. So Sarah Levinger will be here to help us talk about landing pages. We also have the lovely gentleman from Audit. Oh, there. We have Sean. Sean is here. There we go. Hello, Sean.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Sir.
You can?
Yes.
Oh, so you missed all of my talking about your hair?
Yes, but if you'd like to go again, happy to oblige.
I was just saying how great it looked.
I had a little thing done. I had a little TMI, but I had a cyst removed from the back of my head. So wearing a hat as usual is excruciating right now. So the fro lives.
I like it. I like it a
Yeah.
lot.
Sarah will be here soon. Is Taylor coming, Sean?
Of course, he just texted me, where's the link? Because he's never used the calendar before.
It's in the invite. Here, I'll get it for him. Sorry, everyone. Queue up your pages that you want us to review, and we will be ready to go. Dylan is out this week, so it's just gonna be us. So when Dylan's away, Sean and Chase will play. Sorry, everyone. Dad puns. Here we go. Let me grab this link for.
It also says chat disabled on my end, Chase. I don't know if that's
Yeah, I'm gonna fix that right now. Let me text this to here. Okay. I sent it to him. And then we will fix chat right now. Everyone. Okay, chat should work now. Does everyone see that chat? Yeah, cool. Adrian, good to see you. Ben, everyone. All right. First, tell us where you're calling in from. Sean, where's your face? I don't see your hair.
What the
Adrian's
hell?
in Miami. Beautiful. And so, yeah, we got about 31 folks here live with us right now.
It does not allow me to show my face. There's no option.
Oh my Lord.
What kind of operation you running over there?
Dude, Dylan's not here. Everything got ruined. Why don't you hop back in the link I sent you? Boca Raton. How's everyone in Florida doing? All right. Give me 1 second, everyone. I apologize for this. Here. This is interesting. Okay. We're gonna have everyone there. If you want to queue up the websites that you guys want us to cover, we will have that. We'll have that taken care of momentarily. Okay. Beautiful bandolier style. Great. And some of the stuff we want to talk about is obviously Black Friday is going to be coming up in the next little bit. You guys are going to already start working on your pages, your funnels with your clients or for your brand. And so some of the questions I would ask you to have for us is some of these pages, are there things you are interested in? So a little build on top of sending your link is, what do you want to know about said link going into this next important season that we have coming up here? So we have Get Mod, Bandolier. Let us know also what question you have outstanding about that. There we go. See, Sean's here.
We did it.
All right.
We really did it.
Yeah, we did it. Okay. Well, we'll let the other two show up, but we're 6 minutes in. So let's just start this first one. For Get Mod. Adrian, is there a specific question you have about Get Mod, or you just want the standard us looking at everything? Standard is great. Okay. Fantastic. I'm gonna open. Yeah, I'm gonna open this up. Let me do this. Get Mod queued up. Okay. So I'm going to, I don't know what's behind here. All right. And we'll share our screen. We're gonna go look at Mod. Here we go. Okay, so we'll look at the desktop version, and then we can pop onto mobile. First thing, I'm on a MacBook Air that is 15 inches. So this is the screen size we're looking at.
Okay.
Sean, what's your initial take? What's your initial take on this?
I mean, I'm familiar with Mod.
Yeah.
I think one of the things we see a lot with brands like this is they're always struggling to find that balance of what works and what looks good. This looks really good. And it actually probably doesn't work that bad either. It's very simple, and it's not necessarily saying here's exactly what we make, come buy it. It's drawing you in with, you know, kind of a marketing tag or a couple word Modern Intimacy. I think the biggest issue here, and this is common across a lot of sites, when you add that discount pop-up, it seems to be always, especially on mobile, placed over your key action.
Yep.
So on desktop, it's clear that that's happening, but on mobile, it's probably happening even worse because they both sit at the bottom of the page. I think the number one thing to do there, or the best way to do it, is have that pop in once they get like halfway down the page. I think it almost feels like that's the primary action you're trying to offer when they first land.
Yeah.
And it's almost like before they've even learned what you do, what you make, what the price point is, you're kind of like, here, take a discount, please. It's too expensive, take a discount. So we always recommend surfacing a discount or a pop-up like that a little bit further in. So I would just suggest halfway through the page scroll, just then let it come in.
Let's see. Yeah, we aim to gain deeper understanding of our customer interaction patterns on our, okay. Question for you. How do you feel, Taylor, how do you feel about like this tagline being Modern Intimacy, clean, intimate care to set the mood every day? Like, I think Sean had a really interesting point, which was, like it's drawing you in with some marketing, tags. But if I was just cold coming into this website, not with an ad, I would not know what they make. You know what I mean? And like modern, like I don't even know if I want to interact with this.
Yeah, it's also fairly subjective, I think.
Yeah.
I think modern sometimes is a little overused now, but yeah, just being a little more to the point. Again, there's like the brand piece to this, and there's the actual conversion piece and clear messaging. But I think those two things it's a little subjective. What does modern mean? Is that like the technology they're using? Is that the style of intimacy? Like, just leaves a little too much to question, I think.
Even just
especially like if it's at a, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, especially if you're not like a household name, which there's very few, you know, in the adult category, their household name. It's kind of just like introduce yourself until you are a household name. Nobody's going to get mad if you are too simple.
I think it also, I mean, the header's quite short, so it's a little bit better, but it makes me think they make skincare or like massage oils
Yeah.
versus actual products. Whereas if you go into that mobile version, you see what I think is a
Yeah.
vibrator.
Yeah.
But I think that's another thing, like using internal brand nomenclature for product titles can be a really finicky spot to be in. Like if you're walking down the aisle in retail and there's a bunch of products on a shelf and one says Band, one says Vibe and Shine, one says Band and Shine, and that's the only thing the customer gets to read, are you really telling them enough? Like
Yeah.
you have to think in terms of primary, secondary, right? If someone lands on this from a mobile standpoint, come from an ad, and they only read the product titles, even though you have the descriptions below, does the product title give them enough information, or is it just a nice brand piece, right? And the way you have it done where it just says band, a band of what? Is that like a plug, a vibrator? I don't know what it is unless I read that bottom part. So
Yeah.
I think there could probably be some work, even if you added a tag at the top where, you know, on the opposing side of where it says new, have a tag that says vibrator, and then the next one says vibrator and lubricant, like, or bundle, like something that just drives a little bit more clarity around what we're looking at.
Yeah. Let's see what the bundles look like. Actually, it's a good call. So Vibe and Shine. So you get Vibe.
Also, one thing
to
point out on this brand, one thing to point out too is that the products are like really beautiful and like unique and modern. So I think like just showing those in that hero image instead of the hand on the shoulder. I get they're setting the tone for intimacy, but I think the products are such cool looking products that, you know, I would assume that a lot of customers coming here, not all of them, aren't super knowledgeable on this category. Maybe it's their first time, maybe they're getting into it. So just kind of being really clear with it and showing the products, I think, and like you said on these things, telling them exactly what it is. Because even for most people, 5-speed vibrating ring, I don't really know if I'm not, you know, into toys. So
Sarah had her hand raised. Go ahead, Sarah.
Hi.
She's here, everyone.
I've been here. I just was listening. Just didn't know how to be a host. I'm just
No,
taking
that's my fault. That's my fault.
We got it. We're good.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is such a fascinating brand. Sorry, do you guys want to keep going?
No.
Go
ahead. Let it rip.
So interestingly enough, depending on the industry that you're in, you're going to have some very sensitive customers, or you're going to have customers that are real into it and they know exactly what they need, exactly what they want. There's two types, I think, for this particular industry. So I don't mind this modern intimacy angle if that's who you're trying to get in. If you want somebody who's really interested in having like a very nice, like pleasurable experience with their significant other, who they're like super committed to, and they're really like into just what's the word? Integrating like intimate relationships between that person, right? Intimacy in the relationship. This is perfect. Mostly because you're not trying to convey the message that you want them to explore something about themselves. This is conveying the message of kind of generate more of that same connection you already have with somebody, right? So messaging, specifically copy, is going to draw on a very specific person, or it's going to repel somebody. So I don't mind that as long as you're trying to get in that type of human, somebody who really just wants to increase connection within their solid relationship. The image doesn't really say much to me. Honestly, the image kind of creeps me out just a tiny bit, just because in this particular instance, the person behind whoever this is that we're seeing has the hand on her, right? But we don't see her interacting with the person behind her. So if you're actually saying intimacy, I need to see both partners doing something with each other. So whatever your copy is, the image has to convey the same emotion. Otherwise, you're going to get this dichotomy in the brain where it's not going to know what to do with it.
I can't unsee the creepiness now, Sarah.
Sorry. I'm here to call shit out.
No, it's good. It's good. It's
just
good.
walked up to her in a shower and she didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
Especially for like the sex industry. If you're going to be doing like sex toys and things like that, know that there's two groups right now. People who haven't been taught a lot. They have low education. They want to explore it, but they're just uncomfortable with it. or people who are very well versed in it. They're really involved in the lifestyle of it and they actually enjoy exploring a ton, right? There's two education levels just with people's bodies, how much they know about themselves.
So you want
So
to hear
I'll
something
be real
funny?
careful.
I've been listening and going to school from you three, listening to this because I didn't have an opinion when I opened up this site. And the thing that I am now coming to, and you like tell me if you agree or disagree. I feel like this is a brand that hasn't made a decision what kind of customer
Yes.
they're actually trying to attract.
Yes. Yeah. We're trying to
And
be a
so-
little too neutral. Yeah.
Yeah, and like so, Adrian, for your purposes, I guess that might be a little difficult because it's like, okay, like it's everything is done incredibly well. Like it is a very polished, lovely, well put together site. The question is actually content and like the mode of communication. And so I think there is something to say of like, okay, modern intimacy. How can we get more dialed where that actually feels like it's for someone? Because right now it feels like it's for everyone, but it's actually for no one. To Sarah's point, same thing by the way. Sean and Taylor pointed out about these bundles and or walking down an aisle. And so I think one thing I would recommend based on everyone's teaching here is going back to the client and talking about how can they get more focused on the actual customer and who they're actually trying to target. And so that's, I think that's where we'll leave this one, but this was a really, really, really great one. I think the site has really done well. Again, Sean's main point, this is like every site in the history of the world has had this issue. I don't see I see like 9 out of 10 sites have this get 10% off. I think the only issue I have here more than anything is besides it covering the shop all function, the image makes it like go away. So I can't even really see it. Like I scroll down here, second break point, I lose it again. And so I think maybe changing this to a white, especially if you're going to have a darker image on top, will just allow you to make sure it stands out more. So great stuff. I think Kim has her hand.
Hey,
Go ahead,
one
Sean.
quick thing to add.
Yeah.
One quick thing. This, in their defense, this industry is very tough to show lifestyle photography in the right
Yes.
way.
Yes.
Like especially with product. So like I can see where the decision might be like, let's set the tone here on the brand side. But I think it could be changed a little bit. But yeah, just like I was thinking, we've worked with a ton of companies in this industry and in different countries, especially some, like we have one in India that can't call them vibrators. Like legally, they have to call them like massagers. So there's a lot of these little intricacies in this that make decisions a little more difficult too. That was the last thing.
I think one last thing, Chase.
Yeah.
We don't even
You
have
want me to share the page again?
No, it's okay.
Here.
I think when it comes to stuff like this, especially in the intimacy category, to Sarah's point, like we don't necessarily know if the customer is exploring something new completely or just exploring a new toy in their repertoire of toys.
Yeah.
Either way, I would, at least from my perspective, there's probably a lot to do with size that's going to affect your decision. And in these images, as beautiful as they are, I don't know how big the bottle of oil is, which doesn't allow me to know how big the toy is beside it. And so, believe it or not, we've audited a ton of sex toy companies. And one of the biggest problems is they have a collection of products all shown really nicely, but one of them is 2 inches long and one of them is 10 inches long. And without showing some reference point of reality, like a hand in the image or something, it's just really hard to know. Like if I see the one product's a ring, you can kind of put 2 and 2 together, but like the Vibe and Shine one, like I just don't know how big that is, right? And comfortability is such a big part of this industry. So something that's a little more easy to tell how big each thing is will probably instantly increase clicks, even if you're just adding a I don't know, something from the bedroom that can be in that photo with it, like a background element that can just, okay, this is as big as a glass of water, like they have in a few of them, or things like that. I think that would be helpful.
Awesome. Okay, we're gonna go to bandolier style from MJ. Hope you're still with us, and I will share that one. And here we go. Okay, so standard 3-second pop-up. A little issue I have right now is I can't see the X to get out of here. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little. So just admittedly, we've worked on this site. Probably, I think we've done 3 audits for Bandolier over the years. But I think it's again one of those brands that's so focused on image that they're always battling with that. How do we increase conversion without removing that? I think one of the things on that pop-up, for instance, Chase, a really easy hack is to do the same thing they do on these arrows in the next section. Just if you scroll down
Oh yeah, sorry.
right there, those white arrows.
Yeah.
When you hover,
Oh yeah.
like just if it's an action that, especially an X, that's like their only way out of something, just default to always have a background and the icon. So it's an X, but it's on a white circle at all times.
Yeah.
No matter what photo you pick, it's going to show because there's a background on it.
Yeah.
And so I would just, in those scenarios, always lean into being as clear as possible with an exit action, because those are really frustrating when you get a pop-up and you can't close it. So definitely a simple change there.
Yeah. Sarah, where do you come out on this site? Just from first glance, and like, where do you want me to zoom into on here?
Couple things, just if I was landing on here, like first party unaffiliated, never seen the site before. Anything scrolling drives me crazy. I really hate scrolls on any site. It's a distraction, and it's also, you don't know how fast people read. A lot of people read at like a 9th grade level at this point. It's also actually dropping in the US. People are starting to read at like 7th, 8th grade levels now. So this speed of scroll is not great because I can't read it. It's just going so fast that it's actually more of a distraction than anything else.
Yeah.
And then secondary to that, toughest part about fashion is you're trying to convey the benefits of what that particular product will do for somebody without saying anything. So imagery is incredibly important when it comes to fashion. And this is difficult because the title for what they're actually selling in this image is all the way down at the lower left, and it's teeny tiny. So are you selling the coat? Is it the sunglasses? Is it the purse? Like, what is being sold in this image? Because that's going to tell me everything I need to know about who this brand is and whether or not I want what they're selling.
What's the price point? I'm curious. They're 100. The phone cases are,
Dang. Okay.
100.
Interesting.
So interesting, because you just said something that I think I'm not even clear on here, which is phone case. So is the bag the phone case? Is the
is it the phone?
Is it the phone? And then we go to a shop now, and
it's a category
not actually
page.
Clear. Yeah, it's a shop all category page. So this is the bag she has in there, right? Is this the phone case? Maybe it is.
Pro tip for everybody: don't make it hard. Do not make it hard for me to shop on your site. If I like what she looks like, take me to that page. This is just basic kind of linking 101. But I mean, there's a lot we could probably break down, but that's probably the first thing I would tackle.
I'm curious. So they also have this issue here too, by the way, this scrolling, all this scrolling stuff that's going on. Like it's very, it's a lot. I guess one thing I have for you three, and whoever Taylor jump in, since you haven't spoken on this one yet. Does AOV play a role here? Because I think these brands that are kind of in this middle ground between being luxury and being conversion focused, like they're in this premium price point. And when you're premium price point and fashion, it's like a very hard place to be conversion focused, because you're like, okay, I have to be a fashion brand, but I want to print money at the same time. Like, what is the more important thing? It's like, to Sarah's point, this is a very easy place. You're above the fold to just get right and send them to this page, but they also want the opportunity to get them into the other stuff because maybe they don't like this product. So how do you think people should balance this? Because I think this is a challenge that a lot of fashion brands and maybe premium products have, fashion being the easiest one to kind of to lean into. How can you work on that? What do you think about that?
We could probably go on this for days, me and Sean, because this is one of the reasons why we started Audit. Was we saw this gap in CRO and UI UX agencies, and there wasn't something living in the middle, right? So a lot of traditional CRO agencies that would work on a site like this, it would be implementing best practices, right? Let's have big bold text, all that kind of stuff here. Whereas we know these types of brands, and there's a clean aesthetic they're trying to go for as well. So we talk to a lot of these brands, and sometimes they're like, I don't really care about an incremental conversion increase if it's going to break my brand, and the customers that come here are going to not tell their friends about it and stuff. So there's these things that they measure outside of this and just setting the tone. If you look at the largest premium brands in the world, a lot of these brands also look at those for inspiration. not understanding that they're a household name, and you can be very simplistic on the site, right? Like you can show
Yeah.
nothing and people will figure out how to purchase. When you're not a household name yet, there's like specific little things you can implement that don't change the foundation of the site, and you're not putting a spin to win and checkout. And Lizzie in Ohio just bought 10 of these bags. That's not going to work for this customer, but there is specific, tasteful ways to like push people down a conversion path. And yeah, like with this image, I think I get it. This is kind of the aspirational demo. You see like fashionable, that's the whole point about their cases, luxury. But there's probably some small tweaks that can be done that don't make it like a D2C templated site that you just bought a theme for and plastered it all over everything. So I know, Sean, like when we have these audits come in that are premium fashion, we tend to like take a step back and not go all out on like, okay, how can we increase conversion? It's very kind of, you're walking a fine line.
Yeah. I think with these types of scenarios, you're definitely trying to find that balance. But like if you scroll down, Chase, to those two marquees that are going at the same time.
Yeah.
So this is a good example. And both of these callouts arguably should be on the homepage. But I think the issue here is accessibility and hierarchy. So when I say accessibility, what I'm talking about is both of them are within the first two folds of your primary page. Neither of them are actionable. So you're saying, hey, join our rewards club and earn points, but we're not going to let you do it. Now it's on you to go figure out how the fuck to do that. Like,
Yeah.
what's the point of saying it if you're going to go make them go hunt? It's kind of like saying, save 20% off with code blank, 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 and you just make them hunt. Like you're just wasting their time, wasting energy they shouldn't. Like it's very easy to make that text a link. Let's assume it's not moving, but make that text a link. And then with the tags of social posts, showing UGC is great. It's great to show reality, even if these are all probably professional influencers. But same thing, accessibility. What the hell am I looking at? Like this girl could be holding a Stanley bottle. I can't even tell because that image is so small.
Yeah.
I don't like, that's great. Bandolier featured her. What the fuck did she buy? I don't know what she bought. I don't know if it looks good on her because the photo's so small. So like, this is great content, but if I can't see the image and this section isn't designed in a way where I can see the image, see the product and link to buy the product that they're showing, it's pointless. So in this scenario, if you're going to do it like this, it should be buried at the bottom of the page because it really doesn't have a ton of conversion value. If it's going to be larger, more accessible with links, it can be higher up. And so I think you have to solve a lot of those really, what I would say are small problems for this to have any value.
Sarah, how would you think about this? Because there's this weird, like it's the gap we were talking about between being premium and conversion and being fashion. And I think to Taylor's point, there are a lot of small tweaks that they can make, but I have a lot of trouble with brands who come and say like our target is to be like Nike. And it's like, well, Nike's 40 years old and the biggest sports brand in the world. And you can't, or I want to like Louis Vuitton is our target. It's like, well, 100-year-old brand owned by LVMH has a lot of backing and it's a different thing, and they've had to build for a long time. And if you've ever listened to their Acquired episode, it was not a linear path that you're thinking.
Nope.
It is by any means. So I'm curious, like we'll round out on this one specifically, and we'll do kind of like takeaways. But how do you deal with this? Because obviously they're doing this conversion stuff here, trending now, shop by category. But again, it feels like we're on a second page where it's kind of like they're walking the tightrope and not deciding like, hey, I'm on that boat or I'm on that boat.
Yeah. I think this is a problem for almost every fashion brand. And this is no dig on fashion brands, but like every fashion brand that I've done an audit for, specifically like an emotional audit, you all kind of look the same. You're all the same brand, with some of the same products and like some of the same messaging. And again, that's no fault of these people. Like you guys are doing the best you can with the information that you have, but just know as a fashion brand, you're competing with thousands of others that look exactly like you. Even if you've never seen them, you're still competing with them. So the best thing that you can do in fashion is don't try and become Nike. Nike grew out of the 80s when there was no internet. to be able to market and amplify your messaging, right? Louis Vuitton has been around for decades, like generations of people have seen Louis Vuitton grow. So don't try and become somebody who grew in a very different time period of marketing and just generations and culture in general. Best thing you could do as a fashion brand is to make sure that whatever you say, the personality of your brand comes out harder than your products do, comes out harder than your visual brand does, and comes out way, way, way intensely in everything you do. This is the reason why I bring up Liquid Death a lot, because they sell water in a can. But the guys just, I mean, they're what, $1.4 billion valuation just based upon the fact they sell water in a can that has a skull on it. Now, visual brand does a lot for them, but their personality is everywhere. They've injected it in everything. So pick a personality, pick a customer, and then go hard at it. Go hard at it.
So what you're saying is positioning is the blue ocean that fashion brands have.
Positioning.
And focusing on that. Okay. So like, I think there are a few things that actually will come out of that. With the positioning, you'll actually be able to make a decision on what kind of site you want to have. Because like your high fashion here, your conversion focused here. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. It's just make a decision. I do think the blue ocean thing is a really amazing call out. All right, Bandolier, good luck to you. And do another audit with Sarah and with audit. Use my affiliate link. Up, store, home. Okay, we got another one. This is interesting. This will be a nice little change. Okay, share screen. Here we go. Okay, very good. Okay, we have a chestnut dining table. I'll open the mobile as well. First question for everybody while they're scanning. How do we feel about get 8% on get 50? Give 8%, get 50. What is that even? What is that? Give 8%.
That's confusing. Like when you tap that as a tag.
Yeah. Okay. So first thing, confusing. And then how do we feel about the reviews living here? This is easier to understand, obviously. What does that do? Interesting. Interesting. I don't hate this. Okay. All right. So, Sean, what do we think?
I think
he bailed.
He said the power just went out. I think like the first thing, just from a amount of traffic seeing key content, navigation is taking up a lot of unnecessary space on the top here. And like, as much as people don't think, shrinking that down 10%, it just brings 10% more up that we can push key content to that above the fold. So just looking through that, and then I'd have to see like why they've stacked the navigation items like they have. That's the main thing we see on audits is people just, if it's in my store, I should have it in navigation. And as long as it's there, people will find it. But like, it is so pivotal to like how those are stacked, what you're displaying, the kind of the double navigation there of return, refund policy, shipping, all that kind of stuff at the top. I'm not sure about that. I would definitely test kind of keeping it more focused up there. If the people looking for that type of information are probably a little further down the funnel on this site, like shipping and return, stuff like that could probably be in the footer and then on the product page where, they're really wondering about this. The key here is just to get people interested enough to keep scrolling, keep shopping, right? So that's what I would say is
they throw a free shipping announcement bar in here as well. So they've even pushed it down further. Yeah, it's really smart.
And with the free shipping, like what we usually tell people is that announcement bar is critical page per page, right? So homepage, it should be displaying something different than product page. Free shipping on product page, that's probably pretty key, right? People are really interested in that. In this category, it's a little different because that chestnut dining table, I would assume that's very expensive to ship if I didn't see free shipping right away. So it could work there. But from brand to brand we work with, like really focus on what is that announcement bar on your homepage supposed to get people to do, right? probably to shop or probably to announce something that will get them to shop. On a product page, probably something to build trust, get them over the finish line. So use kind of like the biggest, highest impact statement there, and really focus on page per page what it is. Small things, but that was my first kind of take on that.
Sir, what do you have?
Image wise, whenever you sell any sort of like furniture, again, it's got to convey some sort of emotion. That one in particular has quite a lot of emotion in it just because it has teacups on top of it, right? So the brain is going to make associations between whatever it sees around the product and the product itself. So the nesting table, not great because it's such an interesting, odd angle. You're like looking down on top of it, and there's shoes in behind it, and there's like a couch, and there's blankets and some books and things. This looks kind of like a messy living room, which is not great. That's not the message you want to convey. So photography wise, anytime you have an inanimate object that doesn't already come with its own personality, like shoes, shoes are obviously very like personality focused because of color and all kinds of design and stuff. Furniture is different because there's not like a whole lot. Okay, that's, yeah, even better on mobile. That's interesting. There's not a whole lot of personality that comes out of furniture unless you have stuff around it.
Yeah.
So again, this goes back to what we keep saying. You got to pick a personality. What kind of personality does your brand have? I always equate this back to like, pick a high school kid that you want this to be like. Is it the jock? Is it the cheerleader? Is it the like cool art girl? Is it like the band leader? What kind of personality do you want your brand to have? And then double, triple down on it in everything. All of your images should be the funny class clown if that's who you want to be.
Yeah.
These images are kind of borderline between timeless and a little bit of like, I don't even know, like modern. So I can't tell. Excuse me, sorry. So the other thing I would say is just from that like fold kind of an issue we're having, I'm dying. All of the text is like beneath the fold, which I haven't seen in a while. So yeah.
The carousel's tough too. I think I'll speak for Dylan. I'll speak for Dylan here, because he's a carousel hater. He's on this call, but I think he said in like pretty much any split test they've ran, carousels perform much more horribly than something static. And if you're going to have a carousel, let it be movable by the person. This one's pretty quick. Most times we see carousels
unfurling everything, right? Like it keeps
and you can't set it, right?
Yeah.
So you got to keep looking different places, which is just, there's very, very small amount of time you have. This is not to sell them the product right now. It's not the time. It's to start building that interest and trust and get them further down. So having something static there, and I get that they're trying to show like we have all these different things, but there's probably a better way to do it, and convey that so that, and I can see, I think they probably optimized for mobile.
Dude, I was about to say that. It feels like
the mobile
problem is the AOV is a desktop AOV, but it's a mobile optimized website. So like they've just got.
I'm curious. Yeah, we see that with these home furnishing companies. Like typically, maybe we see traffic and browsing higher on mobile, but like checkout is, and check that on your analytics too. Is like traffic is one thing, conversions is another thing. We see a lot more conversions, skewing 50-50 more on home furnishing stuff, higher AOV. So don't optimize for mobile, but don't forget about desktop in this category, because it's just as important, especially when it comes down to purchases.
Our data says that anything above 100 AOV, people are going to check out on desktop. Like under, you're like, oh, okay, fuck it, like let it ride.
Yeah.
But above that, people are going to browse. They're going to send themselves a link, or they're going to remember the website, and they're going to go onto desktop. And so you want to make that experience easy to navigate, because the mobile experience, by the way, when we inspected this, was actually better. Like the menu makes a lot more sense on mobile, and it'd be interesting, heat map plug, using interactive mode to see what that actually would look like, to be able to optimize that, because you might find that this new functionality is actually the thing that you should be having as the first option in your navigation. Yep. So that's one thing. The other big one that Sean called out, this stuff here, you're just giving up conversion real estate. Like this is absolutely bananas. Okay, like I will just be I will be hyperbolic right now. Like this is crazy. This should be 1/3 this size. This never live here. This like who cares? So you need to get them to actually go and interact with your product, and then give them this and be very open about Shop Pay, Afterpay, and PayPal. Like the product should be doing the selling, not your offers, because these things aren't unique to you. Your product is what's unique to you and your personality, to Sarah's point. Anything else here? I'm gonna pop into the next one. We good.
think that's
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
Let's ride. We went Bandolier, went up home. Let's go to all right. Okay. It looks like we got an LP and we got a Sean. Look at that.
I think we might have gave more value on that last one without Sean, to be honest.
Big facts, dude. Big
I'll
facts.
just, I'll just watch.
I thought he's been carrying me this whole time, and I think I've been carrying him.
Oh my God.
All right. So, Sarah, what do you think of this?
Oh boy. This is something that I am 100% guilty of. So I'm talking to myself more than anybody else. Large amounts of text are incredibly cognitively heavy on the brain, and they
Mhm.
make it really difficult for people to commit to reading anything below basically the largest chunk of text. So
Which is
very
this.
first thing I would say, you got a lot of text going on this top of the page. Now, most people are going to come back and be like, well, Sarah, we've tested this and it's higher conversions over here. I would say test it again, because depending on what time of the year you actually tested this in, you may have gotten people at a very specific like
false
time.
positive.
Yeah,
for
where
sure.
they were just randomly interested in that kind of text. The other thing is too, depending on the demographic of the person you're bringing in, oftentimes boomers will lean heavy on the text and they will not rely as much on video or imagery. So I guess, okay, I take that back. It depends on what demographic is coming in on this site. If it's older, yeah, okay, so demo search plus. I take everything I said back. Because you're in the boomer generation, keep
But
this
why is
heavy
that-
text.
Why is this model then not in that generation? That
That
there's
actually does not bother me.
really.
Yeah. Boomers really, really like to see themselves as they were, not as they could be now.
Okay.
Yeah,
These types
so-
of
Yeah.
sites are wild for us. I get on these calls with these sites, and before I'd be like, you got to do this, but these are a different beast for some reason.
Yeah.
Like the way that people scroll them, they want to be sold to, and it works. And so like we're very careful when these types
Yeah.
come in, especially like long form sales pages.
Yeah.
I look at them and I'm like, oh God, like what is this from a design perspective? But it's crazy what works and what doesn't. So like the test the shit out of these pages, because we've been surprised more often than not. Because yeah, I would have said the same thing as you. And
Yeah, for
we've said it
millennials
before, and
especially. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So it's this age group, they're on the cusp, and they like the modern stuff, but they're still, so yeah, I think these are very interesting. And Sean, I'd love your take on.
Yeah, quiz start is 34%, Ben is saying, by the way. Very interesting.
I
Like,
interested,
go ahead, Sean.
interested in the image selection, because if your demographic is 50 plus, I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old, but this woman looks 20.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting.
They
That
want
was-
to
Yeah.
look like her.
Yeah, it's we're promising them something here. It makes I get it. I had the exact same reaction. I guess, Sarah, when we think about this, there's 5 points plus these 3 big bold lines: one-time purchase, lose up to 1.5% body fat per week, FDA approved Ozempic, also available, no insurance, find out if you're approved in 90 seconds.
Yeah.
For the 50 plus buyer, are they going to read all of this stuff if they're coming from, and I'm assuming, Ben, all of this traffic or majority of this traffic is coming from ads, right? Like Facebook ads specifically. Does this mean that, okay, they're coming from, okay, let's see. What is the
Google.
chat? Facebook and Google. Okay.
Okay.
Aspirational beat actual demo. Hey, he's helping us in real time. I love this. Do they want to read all of this stuff, or is there like hey, we can optimize this for 3 bullet points?
Yeah.
And what ones that matter the most to this age? And again, Ben, I'm sure
Yeah.
you've tested all of this, but I'm curious. I want to use this instructionally for the rest of the group as
Yeah.
well. I think there are some good things we can pull out of this, even if you tested all of this stuff. So we're learning in real time with you. What do you think about that?
Best practices would say you should only do 3 bullet points at any one time, mostly because the brain likes to process things like in small chunks. I've seen like 5 up to 7 different points on these long form
Yeah.
sales pages, and they seem to work
Yeah.
just fine. Again, as long as it's going to a boomer audience. The strange thing is like the boomers are almost exempt from any like best practice, I would say. They're the ones that I like highly test. Test the weirdest stuff you could possibly test, because
Yeah.
boomers, they like text heavy crap. I think mostly because they kind of gonna they grew up in the age where it was newspapers and television and books and like all these different things that they could consume information from. Not that they
Well-
haven't learned how to use the internet, right? And like
Yeah.
digital form. But they don't need truncated information like millennials and Gen Zers do.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
millennials
yeah.
and Gen Zers want it fast. We just want it as fast as we
Yeah,
can. Just
yeah. We
give me
want-
the
we want it-
highlights.
Yeah, give
These
me a
guys
tweet,
actually
give me the
like they're very concerned. They're also a very skeptical generation, so they
Yeah.
don't trust things unless
Yeah.
they get all the information and they can make their own choice. So in this particular instance, I would actually probably keep all 5. The one thing I would do though is beef up your icons because the icons are thin. They have like thin outlines. It's difficult to tell what they are, and the icons are made to
Here.
support the text. Yeah, they've done a lot of studies on supporting your
Okay.
text with icons increases conversion rates, but only if people can tell what the icon is. So
That's
I
good.
can't tell what all of them are. I can see some of them.
Let's
So I would
see.
test that. Use blocked icons instead of outlined icons and see what
Okay.
that does. Yeah, they're on mobile
Awesome.
too. A
Yeah,
little squishy on mobile. So
yeah.
yeah, I would try that.
I have to. Yeah, if this was bigger.
I have
Yeah.
a
Go
few
ahead.
comments and then I want your take on something, Sarah.
Yeah.
So one thing, Chase, as you scroll down
Yes.
to the weight selector.
Yes.
So keep going. So this seems really clear,
Mm.
but especially for a boomer, it's not. How much
Yeah.
you can lose and then you just drag. It sounds so stupid, but just add a label that says your weight. Like above that little thing. Just to be clear, that's what they're doing. It really isn't that clear. If you read everything and you start playing with it, you kind of get it. But
Yeah.
then someone scrolling, like it's just not that clear. So that's one thing I would change. Just add a little heading there that's
Yeah.
or weight. And then below this is maybe something more important to boomers, and that's why this is here. But when I'm looking at a weight loss drug, and they haven't told me still to this point if it's a needle, a pill, a powder, a fucking meal plan. I have no context yet as to what I'm actually
Yeah.
taking. How it works to me should be how the drug works, not.
Huh?
I know how e-commerce works. I order and it fucking so like
Yeah.
outlining how that works to me is very tertiary compared to how does this actual drug work? And maybe again,
Yeah.
this demographic is more interested in how easy is the process versus
Yeah.
what am I putting in my body? But to me, there's a lot of stuff lacking here. I mean, there's a GIF that shows this the little pinprick going in their body in this
Yeah.
stomach. But there's just not a ton of info on what I'm actually taking and what I'm doing. It's just like, trust
Yeah.
us, you're gonna lose weight. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of murky.
Interesting. Yeah.
So,
So,
Chuck, by the way, guys, so Chuck, one of our viewers, he said he's in this age demographic and he's heavily tech savvy, but he wants the most important info to make a decision.
Mm.
And he says that he feels that his generation might not be as emotionally decisive as younger
Yeah.
people and younger generations. So it's a good
Yeah.
kind of plus
call
one
out.
on everything we've been saying. I guess, Chuck, if you're still there, one question I would have is to Sean's point that Sarah was going to follow up. How much does seeing the thing matter? But simply rather comes with age. Fair enough. He's saying that it's not necessarily about the generation, but it's about the coming with age and being and like being more discerning as you grow rather than just making like an emotional gut decision. Yes, I agree with you. And more discerning. Do you want to be able to see the thing? Something in real time. The Chuck is responding in real time. I'm curious, Sarah, how much people with something like this, like a needle, for instance, is that something that you want to hide because you're trying to say like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to show people a needle because there's an emotional, visceral kind of component to it.
Yeah.
Just when you
Yeah.
have it and you look at it like, oh, this is not so bad, but you see it
Yeah.
online and it becomes kind of monolithic in a way.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think to Chuck's point, like the older you get, the more skeptical you get
Yeah.
about stuff being
Yeah.
what it actually is. Because you've
Yeah.
never like you've interacted with enough products that you're like, none of this
Yeah.
shit's real. Like we're just out
Yeah.
here making
Yeah.
stuff up.
Yeah.
Especially if you've gone into weight loss quite a lot. If you've heavily been into weight loss
Mm.
pills or any sort of collagen like weight loss supplements, those type of things, where you haven't had a good experience, you're just going to become more skeptical as you go along. So the older you get, the more information you need. So when I say like boomers are more like into the actual text, I'm really just saying they need more research. They're researchers. Whereas the emotional kind of decisions that the millennials make is just based on their age. Like
Yeah.
they just don't need as much information to be able to like quickly make decisions. So
Yeah.
If you scroll back up to, I think we were talking about the like weight loss slider. I would actually change. You could put like a little label on there that just says your weight. I would actually change that entire headline to say how much weight can you lose ? Use the slider to find out, right? Make it like stupid, simple, clear. And then, I would probably put on there somewhere above the actual slider. I need to say, choose your current weight. Because right now I can't tell, is this slider mean the weight that I want to be, or the weight that I am, or the weight that I think I could be? Like, which one is it? So yeah, if you're going to use these type of things, make it clearer. Just put underneath it, like, choose your weight type of thing. So I can tell, oh, my current weight. I see. Oh, then I could lose this much. So yes, that needs to be more clear.
Yeah.
Pretty simple fixes on that one. But then,
Let's see.
this is interesting. So humans are real careful about not poisoning themselves. We don't want to die. We get really intense about anything we put inside our bodies, which is interesting because we eat Skittles all day long and we have no idea what's in Skittles. But oddly enough, for weight loss stuff, I don't see as much of a, what's the word? Like as much of kind of a disdain for trying it. So you're real skeptical kind of about like prescription pills. If your doctor gives you something, you want to kind of know and like consider all your options, which ones are going to be best for me. You know, if you're getting on anti-anxiety medication or depression medication, you test a bunch of them, right? But for this type of stuff, because it's weight loss, most people will just kind of make kind of a guesstimation. Okay, I'll try it for 6 weeks. And if I don't see weight loss, I'll stop.
Yeah.
It's a little bit less of like a commitment. So seeing the product, I think, is very, very important. And this is interesting because, as you said, they've only shown us one time this one cropped in image of like half of the product. That bothers me a little bit. Just from a marketer standpoint, I want to be transparent. Show me the product. Like, I personally believe we should just show them the product because that's what they're going to get at the end of the day. So from a marketer standpoint, I would show it. From a consumer standpoint, you'd have to test that with the boomers. I don't know that they would need to see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a great question.
I'm gonna give 2 call outs that Chuck made. We're gonna move on, but just Novo Nordisk's market cap would agree that people are less discerning about the weight loss stuff. He had 2 call outs that I think were really really great. One was consider with a few testimonials that say don't be afraid, and then testimonial showing like, hey, you know, it's not that bad, this is great, blah blah blah, which is really smart. And then another one is like, consider calling out, only takes a couple minutes a week to lose that. So yeah, I think that's really great. This is really helpful. Ben, I hope this was helpful for you. And I hope everyone got something out of it. Let's go to the next one. We're gonna go a little more rapid fire on these next 2. Let's see. Eating cookies. All right, let's do this one. All right. Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay. Share. Here we go. Okay.
All right. My very first, scroll down a bit. My very first comment, and they do it well here, is there's tens of thousands of cookie manufacturers. I think it's tough to stand out as unique. That hero image for me, it needs to be the cross section, right? Like an overhead shot of a cookie, that cookie could be this thing.
Yeah,
like I went to my mom's house last week. She had these crumble cookies. They were like fucking birthday cakes. They were so big. Like the difference in value between a flat cookie and a thick cookie is tremendous. So like these images where it's like, there's a cut through, there's something inside. It's really unique. It's everything. And
it's like the sandwich videos online where they sandwich together.
Yeah. Show me that gooey inside.
Yeah.
See that.
Yeah. I like that.
I think that's the main thing missing in that header. And I think brands like this, where it's clear it's a cookie brand and you have that beautiful visual, like, you could arguably get away without a headline. You're just showing the beautiful cookies and saying shop. But I think right now that overhead looks pretty, but it's not communicating much about the product aside from
like this one specifically, the confetti one right here with the blue inside, that is bananas in a great way. Where you're like, okay, what is that? What is that neon blue inside? Like, I know it's probably not good for my body, but it feels like it's good for my soul. Sarah,
Yeah,
where do
this
you
is a
come out?
nice
Where do you
full
come out on
coverage.
this? Because like there's a this buy now stuff I feel like is very overwhelming, right? Coming from here,
Yeah.
which feels really put together, then
Yeah.
getting here feels really overwhelming, and the images are massive. Like
Yeah,
for
they're
instance,
big.
this vegan cookie thing. Like, is this s'mores? Is this cookies? I
Where
don't
does
know
it-
what it is.
Where does
know?
buy now
No,
take
it's-
you? Where does buy now take you, Chase, if you click on buy now
Buy now.
from
Let's
the
buy.
hover? Yeah. Okay, it's
Oh yeah,
product page.
to the
Okay.
product page. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but this looks a
Cool.
lot different than that image. Like I
Yeah,
wouldn't
we
have
could
guessed
do like a
this.
whole breakdown of buy boxes. I can't get enough of the psychology of buy
Well,
Yes.
boxes.
I mean,
Anyway,
I think there's something
um,
here to this buy box in general,
yeah.
like with the
Yeah.
psychology of this kind of brand. What's your take on
yeah.
it?
Honestly, I don't think they're actually digging in deep enough to their actual core USP. Like
Yeah.
you guys say that you have macaroons stuffed inside these cookies. Why are there no singular macaroons anywhere on this page?
Yeah.
I like
Oh,
if I
yeah.
like macaroons and I want a macaroon cookie, I want to see both products separated from each other. In fact, what I'd really rather you do is I'd rather it be an animation, macaroons and a cookie, and then explode them together, and then have your
Little
cookie
GIF.
macaroon,
Yeah.
and then
that
like
would be-
show a cut cross, like a cross section of it. Get an animation on the top of this thing because I can't tell if you do cookies or macaroons, even though you say you do macaroon cookies.
Yeah.
So especially when it comes to foodstuffs. If you're
Mm,
selling in the food space and you have a USP as strong as this one, you got to show it separated so that I can make the association first and then
yes.
wrap it together. So that's probably step one. I would 100% agree with the hero image like recommendation of just like we got to get a little bit more detailed in this. The other
Yeah.
thing is
To that
rainbow.
too, Sarah.
Yeah.
One sec, Sarah. To that
Yeah.
to that point you're saying is a lot of brands we work with were like, you should have this, and they're like, well, our resources don't allow us to get this stuff done.
Yeah.
That is definitely something that you should spend money on because
Yeah.
with across ads, across site, across email, those are assets that you can use. Like get that GIF made,
everywhere.
get the insides made, and get those images, and you can just use that everywhere because it'll do you wonders. Sorry, I cut you off. I just wanted to add that.
No,
'cause
no,
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 please
like
do.
not a plug. You can literally do that for like $100 on Suna.
Yes.
It's not,
Yeah.
it's not
pretty
expensive.
cheap. Yeah,
pretty
it's not
cheap.
bad.
Like you send them your product, and in 2 weeks you'll have
Yes.
It's worth
those,
it.
those
Yeah.
gifts that Sarah's
Yeah.
talking.
The other thing I would do, and this is a weird recommendation, but I give it to a lot, like very select brands, I'll give this advice to. Get me a mascot. Go spend money on a mascot. I can't tell you how many studies I've read about like mascots increasing brand viability, visibility, conversion rates, AOV, LTV. Like having a mascot for a brand like this would be massively beneficial because then you can put this particular entity everywhere. And in fact, what I'd probably you do is have two mascots, one macaroon, one cookie, and I want them to hold hands. And then blast that as in many places you can. Now that's not a landing page CRO thing, but that's just branding. You need a unicorn. Yeah. You guys use a unicorn. Okay. This is tough. Unicorn is tough because it technically doesn't tell anybody what you do or what you sell or why is it a unicorn and not a cookie, right? So you got to be careful with mascots. I'm okay as long as you make that the entity and you push hard into it, but that's going to happen over time because they're not going to make an association between unicorn and cookie right now unless you force
You
it.
could put a cookie on the unicorn's horn.
Cookie, that's even better. Yes, you can
Yeah.
use unicorn, but
And
we got to wrap
Dude,
cookies back in.
guys, we're building in public right now. Look at this stuff.
Also,
It's a
shameless
brand
plug,
for
but
love.
money.
shameless plug, but we do mascots. We do mascots and
Yes!
illustrations and all if you need a brand
Oh!
refresh. So
Get
hit us
it.
up. We can
Again,
bring some
Mascots.
I
work.
will in the post email follow up. I will be sending my affiliate code to both people. Please use the link. I have 3
100%.
children, and I live in California. It is expensive.
Please, he needs it.
Yeah.
As far as like the rest of the page goes, if you scroll down, this is going to sound weird. I don't mind that these 3 images take up the whole page. I don't like the necessary image that they're conveying because I think that you could do a lot more with these. You could actually put some graphics in here that'd be really interesting. I don't mind that they take up all the page, but I need more context and information about what you're trying to convey. Otherwise, I would remove them. Mostly because right now they're just so UGC and big that I'm like, I don't know what's going on with these, so I scroll past them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost like making it same size of area, but paring down the image. The other thing that happens
real estate wise,
real estate was because you know what happens is you frame it, it now becomes more premium, which this product is in this space. I think one thing I see a lot of early brands not understanding is framing, whether it's in imagery or the way you communicate your USPs through copy, is just as important as what you put on your page, because people need to be able to see it and they need to be able to feel
Yeah.
it. And everyone is looking in a box. Like we use these phones, we have apps on them specifically. Everything is shrunken down to convey a certain experience that you want to have. And you have to be
Yeah.
that rigorous about each portion of this. And again, I know you're starting and doing all of this stuff and we're getting into the details. These details actually lead to conversion. I can literally confirm with certainty that these things actually lead to conversion. So these are the micro changes you make. You make 5 of these, it stacks on to making your conversion rate go up 25% within a month or 2 months, which has meaningful impact, really meaningful impact to your business without having to change whatever your traffic sources are. Like this is kind of the magic of CRO, by the way. For everyone, I know we're at time that we don't talk about enough. You get your website right, converting at a high level, getting you better customers. You don't have to change your traffic sources or the amount of traffic you pump into the site, and you make more money, right? It's why I mean, again, obviously I have a vested interest in you guys doing this, but don't use Heatmap, use Audit and Sarah. Just fix your site because you'll make more money without having to spend more money. And your margin profile will change on your business and the way that you can invest in other things. Obviously, I know we're at time. I don't want to hold, I don't know, Sarah, Taylor, Sean, I don't know how much time you guys have. I don't know if anyone had any last like questions we can answer without going into websites that we can answer here. And I hope this was super useful for everybody.
I think I just had one last comment while
hit
we
it.
wait for a question to come in.
Yeah.
I think a lot of brands really try and create a separation between their website and their social presence. And they treat their social presence like, what if I had to communicate in 1 second through one image? And they don't translate that back to their website. If you go to this company's Instagram, they have these beautiful breakdowns of each cookie that show the ingredients, show that it's a macaroon stuffed inside, the cross section. And you don't see that on the website because they look at it like, oh, the website is such a big canvas. I have so much space. I can do that over 10,000 pixels versus a square. And a lot of the times it's paid traffic and you do only have a square to communicate and sell them. And so I would just urge brands to just blend those ecosystems a little bit more. Don't focus so much on just my Instagram is one shot at a time and my website is this massive canvas. I can just go across everything. Try and push kind of that line between them a little bit and blend them.
Okay, guys, last one. We're not going to do a full one. Everyone just give one comment on this site and then we'll call it. Sarah, what do you think? Since you're our guest, what strikes you as good and bad about this right off the bat?
The same thing that I've kind of been saying with every website so far, which is your image doesn't match the message you're conveying in your copy. Your copy
Yeah.
says providing parents effortless travel experience, but the parent in this image is not traveling.
Yeah.
Where's the suitcases, right? I want to see them in an airport. I want to see them getting into a car. Like, if you're going to say travel, I need to see travel because I'm a parent and I've traveled with kids and holy hell, it sucks.
Ooh.
It sucks so bad. So I need to see a little bit of that experience in the image.
Yes,
Otherwise,
Is the
Pulls
effortless
apart.
travel experience that the kids are just at home and you're gone? Like, is that
right?
Yes,
It's effortless
hopefully.
because you don't travel.
That's the only effortless. Yes.
Yeah.
So again,
Okay.
really quick fix, but you got to match the messaging. It has to match.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think in this particular case, just reading the nav, I'm guessing that it's toys and equipment rentals once you arrive at a
Yeah.
destination. So
Yeah.
I would just say that because effortless travel with kids can be 10,000 different things, right? It could be a specific sleeping mat for the plane. It could be like, there's so many things it could be.
Yeah.
This is destination-based products. So just say that. It's actually not
Oh.
travel that they're dealing with. They're dealing with the destination
Yeah,
result.
and
So-
it leans into
Yeah.
your actual brand. It leans into your actual brand name. Also, I read that effortless travel experience, and my initial gut reaction is "fuck off." Impossible.
Yeah.
It cannot
I'm
be
mad.
done.
You don't have kids.
yeah. Who wrote this site? Taylor, what do you got? And then we'll sign off.
I think same thing. I love this business. Like, we travel a lot. I live all over the place, and like we have to haul so much crap, and it's the bane of my
Yeah.
existence.
Great.
So just like that getting to the point, how it works, that's one of the key things. Like, I'm getting to Cabo and there's a center there that's going to deliver it to me. Am I picking this up at the airport? Am I getting it beforehand? Right here, yeah. So like simplifying that, making it a key thing. And I didn't see like the other pages yet, but emphasizing how it works and how easy it is key here, because as a parent, I don't want to think about anything more than like every single bag and pack and play and travel stroller and everything else that we're going to forget about taking. What can I leave? Can I leave the pack and play at home? Can I leave this and I can just rent this now? Problem solved. How do I do it? Done.
Yeah.
You've got me. So just like what is this? How does it work? Those are like the two biggest things for me as a parent. I think for a lot of people.
I'm just going to be technical, and I say this everywhere I go. Your navigation is worlds too big. If you cut this down to this level here, where it's, you know, where these binoculars are, that's the entire navigation. You get to what we offer in the above the fold. And that is actually the show, right? So get to the show, make more money, go on vacation without kids. Everyone, this was super fun. Sarah, thank you for being here with us. It was lovely learning from you, not these two degenerates, but from you. And if anyone has anything that they need during this Black Friday season, Audit, incredible job helping you with your websites. Sarah, incredible job helping you figure out what your customers actually want and need. And so you can find them on their websites, sarahlevinger.co, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Audit.co, heatmap.com if you want to measure any of these things and be able to tell them that they were wrong or right. Heatmap.com. And we'll look forward to this next time, and we'll send out the recording and everything subsequently. So thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.